Welcome to another episode of the Philosophy of Chillin. I'm your host, Don't Let to Connect. And as you can see, I have another individual joining me, and I'm so excited for this conversation. We met each other haphazardly and got reconnected in the same ways. And since first meeting you, especially when I was reintroduced to you and the things that you do, it was always a question of how did you confidently understand your purpose to be able to at least guide you through each step along the way. So I've thought it would be no other perfect umbrella of conversation to have but to go through purpose with you.
Okay.
So with that being said, I would love for you to introduce yourself and let the people know who you are and what you do.
So I am Keisha J. Kelly, and I always put the J in there. I am the CEO and founder of Black College Experience, which of course is a Black college, the sports media company. I'm also a sideline reporter.
Mm-hmm.
And I also work in workforce development as my day job. So kind of balance between, media and students. That's my thing. Media and young people, actually. But yeah, that's what I do.
We love to hear that. And the reason why I'm so excited to speak with you is because I found myself in kind of that same alignment, which is interesting because when I first started out, I never thought that I always knew I was good around students.
Mm-hmm.
I had older individuals in my life that would partake and just let me know that, hey, these kids love you every time you come around.
Correct.
But I was just like, I mean, I love students. Like, I can understand them. Cool.
Right.
But I never had imagined myself to be working directly with trying to make sure that their opportunities are in alignment and they're prepping for the next stages of their life in the ways that I am. So for you, what was it like understanding that was a blessing placed on your life?
So here's the crazy thing. I used to be an educator. I taught 8th grade, and I was like, that's not my lane. I didn't even do a full year. I did I don't think I finished the semester. And I was like, yeah, that's not my lane. But I always knew that I like helping people. I love being around people. And being around athletes, to me, it just keeps me youthful. I'm like, okay, no matter how old I get, I'm around athletes all the time, collegiate athletes rather. And so being around athletes is like, okay, I found that passion. Like, okay, I'm going to be around people. But it was when I went into workforce development that I understood you're helping people in the community. You're helping people. You're making an impact in some way. Mm-hmm. And so the more people you work with, the more young people you work with, and you see the change. You see what you're doing. I always say, if you can help one person, I feel like I do my job for the day. If it's just one person, that's probably not true. Yeah. But, it was just the continuous work. And I had to find my lane. Because I said, middle school wasn't it. I just had to find my lane. And I've always mentored. I've always worked with young people in some facet. Community engagement. So it was just working with them is where I found the purpose.
Oh, wow. So when you were able to kind of identify what was aligning with you, what were some confirmations that you were able to understand for yourself? Like, okay, this is where I'm supposed to be, XYZ ABC.
So for me, it was more so, it was kind of like a release. It's like I was going from place to place and I was working with different populations of people, different things. And so it's kind of like they say, once you know your purpose, you stop chasing money. I figured it. I was like, okay, I know my purpose is stop chasing money. And I was like, I know this is exactly what it was supposed to be. And it's just almost like God just said, okay, this is what you're supposed to do. This is exactly where you're supposed to be. And then one day it's like it just clicked. Mm-hmm. This is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to be working with young people because I don't have children. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay, I got nieces, nephews, great niece. And I'm like, all right, I don't have my own children, but I'm going to work with somebody else's. So it's kind of like it just clicked one day like, okay, this is what your purpose is. Stop chasing the money. But this is because I know they will never be able to pay me for what I do. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, that's when the purpose came in.
That's real. And what was the feeling that you had when it first started settling in with you? Like that feeling of joy that you would be receiving? Mm-hmm. Like how were you able to navigate the transitions of doing what you had loved to do how it started affecting or changing your environment.
So I say it's like one of the most selfless things that you can do when you see the change. And then I'm like, I'm one of those people, I get emotional about certain things. And so when I can see like a person coming in, they might be in a situation, and then I can see the change, it's like you just have all of those emotions at the same time. You're happy, you're proud, you're tearful because so many things have come. And so when I've watched different things happen with different people, it's like a ball of emotions all at one time, because now you become the mama, you become the auntie, you become everybody's thing at one time. You do. And when they come to you, it's just like you said, the go-to team. So when they come to you, they're dependent on you. It's like, hey, now they trust you. You've formed a relationship with them. And it's like, all right, when I need something, I'm coming to you. So, I was able to navigate through all of those things over a course of time. Like you keep doing it. And then it just becomes second nature. It's like they lean and depend on you. And it's just like, you don't even think about what it is. Some things they ask you, it's impossible. But you try to fix it and do whatever it is that you can to help them in any way. Because that's what you're supposed to do.
Ooh, I love it. That's amazing. I'm getting excited because you can tell the intentionality behind everything, especially the genuine passion. And honestly, that's why I wanted to talk about this topic of purpose with you, because all of those things kind of preface what that purpose forms into. Right. So when you were, let's say, going back to chasing the money, how did you know that wasn't satisfying you?
So I've been in places where I had money. I've been in places where I didn't. I've done so many different things, and it's just like, it's like the 9 to 5. And I was jokingly today, I was talking to my sister, my twin sister, and I was like, I am actually doing work on the weekend. I do not do work on the weekend, but I knew it had to be done, and I want to be ahead, and I want to be, and so that's when it came to after hours, networking, doing stuff, working for the kids, working on stuff that you're not going to get paid for, doing things like that. I knew then. I was like, I love what I do. I love helping people. And they always say, you love what you do, the money will come. I don't know. I'm waiting on it. But it's like, I stopped chasing it. I was like, I'm going to have to let this turn into what it's going to be. Because I know that's what it's supposed to be. And it's just like, again, I've had money before. I've been in some, but I wasn't happy in those places that I was at. I was just working. It's just like you just spinning your wheels. You go, you get a paycheck, and then you go home. And to me, it was serving no purpose. I had no purpose in what I was doing. I was absolutely miserable. I hated the jobs that I worked. And so then I got to a point where it's like, okay, in this next environment, God, put me with people I like to work with. Something that I want to do. The money will come, but please put me where I need to be. And for some people, as I got older, it's not going to always be money. It's going to be other things that you're going to actually, have in place of the money. It's going to be other stuff. And so I was like, I get the satisfaction of, going to people that's supportive, working with students that actually appreciate me, working with athletes that actually appreciate me, and people remember, young people remember everything. So, I actually get the satisfaction of doing that.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. Oh my goodness. It's really because I'm kind of seeing like a reflection of where I'm trying to be as well, especially in processing my current situation and environment and contributions, especially. So for the people that don't know what she does on a technical level, can you please provide them an insight of what it looks like on your day-to-day?
So my day-to-day, I'm in workforce development. I'm with youth and young adults. I work with 18 to 24-year-olds. I'm in a 12-week workforce development program. So I actually got a class I'm about to graduate on Tuesday. So it's going to be a lot of running around tomorrow. It's a lot of prep, trying to get, resumes, mock interviews, taking them to job interviews. I didn't register like 10 people for college, stuff like that. Things that people don't know first time. A lot of my students, some of them are like just now getting GED. Some of them have never been on college campuses. So trying to maneuver through that, trying to navigate being a first time college student, nobody in your family has ever been to college, and trying to navigate that scary space. What do you do in the financial aid space? How do you apply? What about admissions? So on my day-to-day, it's actually going in there, telling them the different things, how to dress for job interviews, how to go, what to say. Because, no disrespect, I know you're younger. This generation will literally put anything on their resume. However they type or text is what's going on the resume. And that's what I look at. So I'm looking at resumes and I'm like, you got to change this to have pictures and color. And I'm like, you cannot walk into this space. And of course, it's like, well, you don't know. But I'm like, yeah, I've been doing this for a long time. I was like, I know what's going to get you in the door. Now, you can do whatever you want to once you get in there, but I know what's going to get you in the door. Right. So that's what it is. It's a day-to-day basis of trying to prepare young people for the workforce. That's what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis in my daytime job. That's what I'm doing.
Just one avenue. Just one avenue. Just wanted to let y'all know. This is the layer 1.
Right. Correct.
Layer 2?
Layer 2. So layer 2, of course, I'm a Black college sports reporter.
Yes,
that's what I'm doing in the night job. And so we're getting ready for football season. So that's about to crank up. And so we go into media days. We go into all of that travel. We're just doing a lot of preparation. But you're around a lot of athletes. I'm around a lot of athletes. And I'm just now coming off interviews last week. I'm prepping for interviews this week. Just going into a lot of that stuff. So again, it kind of came full circle, working with athletes and then working in day-to-day basis in workforce development. And it's just the buy-in, because even with the student athletes, they have to trust you. They have to believe, it's like once you're consistent in what you're doing, now everybody believes in what you're doing. And of course, for me, it's historically Black colleges and universities is what I love. I love my student athletes, men and women out of HBCUs. That's just my thing. Now, granted, I've covered everything from Pee Wee to pro sports, but HBCUs are my thing. And so that's what it is. That's the second level. That's level 2. Y'all, I'm all over the place, but that's level 2.
Wow. So my question to you, because a lot of what you are doing is building a bridge to not just opportunities, but personal development in so many different ways and avenues. So for the work that you do now, what was it like for you to go through your own mental health or spiritual health journey so that you, whether you were knowingly doing it or unknowingly doing it, prepared to have those conversations and to be able to be that guidance and that trusting olive branch?
It's so crazy because my undergrad was in psychology.
Oh, wow.
My undergrad degree was in psychology. And so then, you talking about, I came out of school in 2003. So we didn't really talk about the psychology and all of that. And so now that we see more things happening around the student athletes, around younger people, happening around people and mental health, it's like now I was like, wait, I've been in this space this whole time and I never even really acknowledged like the thing. And I had to teach myself that it's okay to tell people no. No is an answer. And so I get those days when I don't want to be bothered. I don't want to talk to people. I don't want to deal with people. So my mental health could simply just be watching TV all day long, eating stuff I ain't got no business eating. Because I'm the over 40 person that don't eat. So I get to that point. I had to train myself to actually take care of myself. And then I'm also one of those people, because people, as long as you give, they'll take. Yeah. They'll take. So I had to be that person where sometimes I shut it off. No, I'm not talking about sports today. I had to set boundaries. Yeah. Some days I'm not doing any work at all. I'm not dealing with any of that stuff. And then I got a 6-year-old niece. Whenever I feel like I want to be this child that I feel like I am, because I'm the youngest of 4, I'll just FaceTime my niece or I'll call my niece and just do something that just completely takes my mind. So my mental health is just making sure that I take care, even just going to the doctor, taking care of like the physical things, but like to just completely disconnect and then just get back into it. And, people think you got it all together. And I was like, there's times when I cry, a lot of crying. And I was like, I had to get to that point where I knew that mental health it's a very important thing.
That's true. And honestly, I had to understand that aspect for myself too. Because even now, like, I'm trying to get better at making sure that I have actual time alone before I just am surrounded by everybody.
Correct.
All day long.
Correct.
So I had to pick up on that and be like, okay, well, even if it's an hour, 2 hours.
Right.
If that's all I can squeeze in, that's enough for me to be able to reset and prepare for the rest of the day and all the things that I have to do. So I definitely resonate with
Right.
everything that you're saying, because like you demonstrated previously before with all the things that you have to touch and go through throughout your day to day, it's like, how can you have those conversations
Right.
if you're not also acknowledging the fact
Correct.
that you have to either improve on what you're doing for yourself,
Mhm.
or just say, okay, well, let me put some intentionality behind
Correct.
it. Because if you're not feeling yourself, then how are you going to feel somebody else?
Correct. Correct.
So, I get that. I get that. So I have one more question for you.
Okay.
Before I transition to the end of the interview.
Okay.
And it really has to do with the person that you've evolved into, and how you are kind of looking at your own growth and development in relation to just your purpose in general. When you first started out your career, to be where you are now, was it a part of your vision? Have you had fulfillment in the way that you've transitioned? What has been your perspective on this evolution?
So the crazy thing is, sports was never on my radar.
Wow.
I was always going to be a psychologist. I was like, I'm going to school. I'm going to get my undergrad. I'm going to get my master's. I got my undergrad from Southern University, decided I wanted to go get my master's from Alabama A&M, which is where my twin sister graduated from. Started there in clinical psychology. Absolutely. I was like, I was young then. So I was like, these classes are too long. That wasn't working. Then I looked at education. I was like, nope, don't want to do that. Like, I was one of those all over the place. And then I was like, let me just go get an MBA, which is what I did. I went ahead and got an MBA. And I've watched the vision that I had for Black college experience has not changed. It's always been to bring positive exposure to HBCUs and in athletics. It's always been that. But the other thing, the component was to award scholarships. And I've done that. So I was like, I did scholarship, in honor of my father, my late father. But then the thing now, where I'm at now as I get older, is to, as Deion Sanders said, when you come through the door, leave it cracked. So as you come through the door, leave it cracked for somebody behind you. So now in this evolution, it is now to connect other inspired reporters or writers or whatever it is that you want to do, connect them to opportunities, whatever the opportunities, because I know young people are super hungry and they think it come overnight and it's a lot of work, but now it's to connect them. That's why the network is so important. Connecting them to, different things. And yes, I have seen that, it's been a lot of yeses, it's been a lot of no's, but I have seen the growth over the time, different opportunities, different things I would have said no to, I say yes to, and things I would have said yes to, I say no to. So, you will see the growth over time. And then things that bothered me before, I just be like, nah, I'm not going to deal with it. Some things are not worth arguing about in sports. Some things I don't even let drain my social battery. I'd be like, I don't have time, and I just keep it moving. But I definitely have seen the growth, just over the time in the different things that I pick and choose to engage in, things that I deal with, even in people that I interview, And so the time, everything has definitely changed, definitely evolved. Like I said, basically with trying to help more people get into the space of sports, more people get into reporting, get into the space, because it's hard to get. It's a hard place to be.
I understand that, and I am so grateful to have met you and to cross paths with you, because I really am dedicated to helping all of these initiatives that I've come across doing this platform, including yours. If you need anything, any assistance, just let me know. I'll try to utilize my skills the best way I know.
And I am. I'm proud of you, because I'm listening to, the young man earlier. It's like, you've been doing so many things. You have been doing so many things. And so many times we utilize our skills in the workplace. And then we're so tired, we come home, we don't want to utilize. But it's like you're still tapping, like you're hitting every block. And I always say I admire young people. When I say that, because you're younger, I always say I admire young people, because this generation don't care. It's, I'm going to quit a job and I'm going to find another. I'm going to quit a job and I'm going to find another. I have a nephew the same exact way. So it's like, y'all always land on y'all feet. And I admire that. And a lot of people envy that y'all can do it and do it well. But I admire all the entrepreneurs. I love the creatives. Oh, yes, God, I love creatives, because it's like I never knew what that was. I never knew what that looked like. Probably honestly until I came into Reimagine ATL to see what that really looks like.
Wow,
And so,
amazing.
that's so
crazy happy.
Yeah. So when I came in and I actually saw you, I was like, God, why does she look so familiar? That was just the ironic moment. I was like, that was not by coincidence that we passed each other again, but just being able to see that and seeing so many creatives in Atlanta and seeing it just like evolving into what it is. It's very, and I tell people all the time, I was like, that's not an easy space to get into. Mm-hmm. It's not an easy space to be in. I was like, you got to network. You got to do a lot of work in that space too. But it is so good to see it in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. And it's so good to see you thriving in it.
Thank you. I truly appreciate you. And honestly, I'm glad you were able to take it away because the end of these interviews essentially preface around giving the microphone to you so that you can ask me any questions that you would like to, whether it be on the topic of purpose or not. So yeah, if you have any other questions or any other,
of course, the interview, I can never leave an interview without asking questions. So what do you think your purpose is?
Wow, that's a great question. And honestly, that's something I've been trying to think on more, or at least reflect on as I've been in this space and introduced to the different intricacies of what I can do and how it can be helpful. Mm-hmm. And I'm still figuring it out, but honestly, I truly believe that my purpose may be tied into the presence that I'm able to give or contribute to a space. A lot of people have let me know, especially if I'm being a first AD on a project, they're like, your demeanor was so surprisingly effective and helpful, but typically people think of first ADs as the person that's always yelling. Mm-hmm. I'm not finna yell at you. Like, you are a well-capable individual.
Correct.
You are a professional. Mm-hmm. We need to get this done. Mm-hmm. And if it cannot get done, these are the ramifications that I'm letting you know what will happen if we do not.
Right.
So with that being said, I don't have to scream at you to get something. I can respect the fact that you need time to get something done. Let's get everything prepped and we can contribute in that way. So I guess just how I'm able to contribute to a space is definitely tied in a way. But I'm still figuring out like what that purpose is and how I'm supposed to continue to fulfill it.
So what does your day-to-day look like?
Okay. How much time do we have? I don't know.
Or is no day the same?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
Because it really depends. So I used to work in tech consulting.
Okay.
And that day-to-day literally had me...
I think that's when I met you. You were doing tech consulting. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. And I was flying back and forth from LA to Atlanta. Mm-hmm. But then I've transitioned out of that space. And as I'm trying to find other areas of work, I got connected with Reimagine. And that's like the consistent day where it's like, okay, I'm coming in. My priority is to make sure our executive director is supported. So whatever they need, that's where the different varieties of how my day can look when it comes to that work. Okay. I can be working on contracts. Okay. I can be physically an ambassador, letting people know what we do, what we're striving for, everything of that sort.
Okay.
And then outside of that space, because I'll either do events with them or something like that, I run all of my podcast platforms. This one particularly is my personal. So my day-to-day with this, in the morning, I wake up, I try to work out, and then I go clock into Reimagine around 10:30 a.m. Sometimes sooner, depending on the necessary needs of the event or the day. But I'm sending off emails. I'm inviting people. I'm going through my Instagram. I'm looking at new accounts, new people, new creative, new professionals. Like, who is it based off of what you're adding into this space that I can reach out to? So I'm sending off emails. I'm creating timesheets for myself so I can make sure that I'm accounting for what I'm doing. I go through receipts and I do all the financials and make sure we have money somewhere. Then clock in and reimagine. That's a couple hours. Then I also work as a studio manager with Resonant Studios. So they might be a random week and they might call me up and just be like, hey, we need you to come in for XYZ event. So that can be a nice 12. I have worked some 12-hour projects, but it's so many varieties. But essentially, I'm always behind logistics. I'm always in operations. And honestly, my goal is just to help somebody while I'm there.
So for somebody aspiring to get to where you are, and I know you're still on the path, what do you tell an aspiring young man, young woman that wants to do what you do? Or how do you tell them to get started?
Dang, that's a good question. And I have to think about that because essentially how I got to where I am today is by having the courage to back my own ideas. Mm-hmm. And having the fruition or the willingness to do my own independent studies outside of the education that was given to me. Mm-hmm. And recognizing the value in the two, that institutionalized education and that independent study. Mm-hmm. It was basically, okay, I can do this if I'm also acknowledging of the fact that it's going to take time to build this.
Right.
I know I need to be able to read numbers. I need to be able to articulate these numbers. So kind of what you did earlier in your career as well. I went to school for business. I didn't get an MBA yet, but I already knew, okay, I need to be able to communicate in these spaces.
Correct.
So having the confidence to be like, hey, I know it looks crazy. I know it sounds crazy. When I selected my job that I got out of college, I had 5 to 7 different offers to be managers and all these other, like, for Amazon, warehouses and stuff like that, and real estate companies. And that's great, but it didn't feed me. Mm-hmm. So when I asked, where do I need to be? Who can I help? Mm-hmm. Where does my presence? What does that work align me to? Mm-hmm. That's when I got introduced to the consulting job. Mm-hmm. And that's when I further, even after the consulting job ended, I was like, well, I still want to be in alignment with where I need to be.
Right.
Reimagine came up in front of me. I said, okay, well, this is happening. So let me continue to apply myself and be aware that being able to build an investment, especially, sometimes, like you said, you have money, you don't have money, but it's about the work that you're doing. Mm-hmm. All the time, people can't pay you because they're building too. Mm-hmm. And you just have to recognize that and be aware of if you want to align yourself to that.
Correct. So, yeah. Correct. So before I let you go, always ask the final question. Mm-hmm. Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Honestly, I've had big visions my entire life. Mm-hmm. And I also know with the visions that I have, it takes more than just me to accomplish it.
Okay.
It takes a community and recognition. Mm-hmm. But I want to be able to have enough of that support and resources from that support to be able to invest in the next generation in the ways that I'm supposed to. Like, there's animes from Black creators that don't get appropriate funding. Mm-hmm. How can I be a solution to that problem? Mm-hmm. How can I help build a bridge? I mean, I don't see me stopping the philosophy of Chillin. So I would hope that growth comes with that as well. So a little bit of what I see myself doing is exactly what I'm doing now, just at larger scales. Okay. And with that same intention ingrained to be able to help the individuals that are doing the work, like you. I would love to sit here and be like, how can I contribute to this scholarship? Like, what can I do to be of service to you?
Okay. Well, that makes sense. I mean, you got time. You're still young, so you still got time. So good luck, but you still got time.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I appreciate you. And again, I love these conversations because we do so much in our day-to-days that we don't always have the time and space to be able to sit down and talk.
Right.
So thank you so much.
You.
I truly appreciate you.
Thank
this
you.
was so fulfilling.
It was. It was. It absolutely was.
Oh, so with that being said, we can sit on this couch all day and talk, but y'all have to go. So I've been Don't Let It Connect, and this has been
Keisha J. Kelly from Black College Experience.
And we'll see y'all. Peace.